Okay, class. Good afternoon sa lahat. Can you hear me? Good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
Good
sir.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon po.
Okay, again, good afternoon. So let's check your attendance, of course. Say present when you hear your surname. Okay, this is for EDAT 211, CE2YB-1. Okay, so say present when you hear your surname. Abar, can you, what's the name, this one? Wait, let me have a full view. Abaratige. Okay. Are you here? Say present. Unpresent. Okay. Um, Anhao or Anjao? Can you please correct me? Say present. When you hear your surname, I guess you are raising your hand.
How po, sir? Present po.
Okay, Anhao. Bagon,
Present.
Bandiola,
Present, sir.
Buisot,
Present po.
Kahilig,
Present po.
Calzado, Castillo,
Present po.
Clarite,
Present po.
Dapadap,
Present po.
Datig,
Present po.
Delmo,
Present, sir.
Dasagun,
Present po.
Dianela,
Present po.
Dolfo, Dolfo, Dominguez Jr.,
Present po, sir.
Das Giancarlo Sagon, tama. How about Dominguez Jr.?
Present po, sir.
Okay,
Dominguez.
hindi lang pala nagpapa-appear na. Okay. Donaire, Donaire,
Sir.
De Los Santos,
Present po, sir.
Esbieto,
Present po.
Escanio, Espia or Espia? Can you correct me? Espia? Okay. Espinosa,
Present po.
Gamat,
Present po, sir.
Guevara,
Present po.
Locsin,
Present po, sir.
Mabeza, Mabeza, Malabana.
Present po.
Present po, sir.
Okay, that's for Mabeza and Malabana, right? Okay. So, next, Malasugi. Malasugi, Mandani.
Present po.
This is Montermoso Jr.
Present po, sir.
Nalangay, Pabalate, Porlahe.
Sir Pabalate po, present.
Okay, knowledge. Porlahe, Rivera. That's Rivera, Kenneth Gate rather, no? And how about Rivera, Mesa?
Po.
Buenaventura, rather, San Buenaventura.
Buenaventura po, present.
Santiago,
Present po, sir.
Toso,
Present po.
Villamor.
Present, sir.
Okay, so another roll call, no? So, say present when your username, Calzado, Dolfo, Escanio, Malasugi, Nalangay, Rivera, Kenneth Gate. Oh, that's Rivera, Kenneth Gate. Okay, knowledge. Okay, so today we have our first topic of discussion. Okay, let me connect my um, tool here. Okay, so let me utilize the screen. Okay, so class, are you seeing my PDF presentation here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so our topic for today, no, although yung discussion ko last time was very broad, no, yung introduction, no. Okay, and then we will not be discussing any more the syllabus. You can just simply browse this one, no, sa ating Canvas, okay, for the course content, every grading, and then uh, fundamentals or fundamental principles of counting. Okay, so guys, let me read this once for you, no, kasi ito naman ay laging nakalagay sa ating modules. Nag-iiba-iba lang ng mga topics per schedule. Okay, so read course and unit objectives, read study guide prior to class attendance. So meaning you're encouraged to read the module prior to our meeting. Okay, so meaning in-encourage kayo na mag-advance reading. Now, read required learning resources, refer to unit terminologies for jargons, proactively participate in classrooms discussion, participate in weekly discussion board in Canvas, and answer the submitted course unit task or performance task for your practice. Okay, so for the unit expected outcomes, okay, again, this is in general to all uh, incoming or succeeding courses. No? So ito lang naman yung mag-iiba dyan on topic. So of course, you have to learn the basic principles of every topic that we will be delivering and inculcate importance of discussion of every topic to be delivered. Listen attentively during class discussion. Demonstrate tact and respect when challenging others, people's opinion and ideas. Accept comments and reactions of classmates on one's opinions openly and graciously. And lastly, no, for this psychomotor unit outcomes, um, participate actively during class discussion, confidently express personal opinion and thoughts in front of the class. And again, these are your reference book, no, for this course. Okay, so let's go straight to our first topic for engineering data analysis. This is all about sample space. Okay, let me zoom this um, presentation here. Guys, is this one already readable to you? Can I have a confirmation? Plus, is this one already readable to you?
Pwede po, sir, pag-zoom.
Sorry? Malinaw or malabo?
Hindi po gaano mabasa.
Okay, how about this one? That's how about this one? Is this somehow readable to you?
Zoom bounty, sir.
Okay. Here, how about this one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so don't worry, I'll be discussing this one in detail. Now, so in study of statistics, we are concerned basically with the presentation and interpretation of chance or number of outcomes in every experiment. Now, ano ba yung consider natin na experiment? No? For example, we are to get the number of accident on a certain intersection. No? It could be anywhere. No? If you want to check, for example, sa yung intersection paglabas ng Fatima. No? So you want to check monthly ilan yung accident that is happening there, and you can somehow from those data you can simply do some study wherein kailangan na ba ng traffic light based on the occurrence of the chances na nagkakaroon ng accident, no, with that intersection. So what else? Ano pa yung iba pang example, no? For example, you are in a assembly line, no, ng manufacturing, and then you are to determine the number of the volume or the total number of volume of defective and non-defective um, items, no? For example, halimbawa, robot, no? Na laruan, no? You are on the testing area, and then you will be the one recording the data, no? Meron ka lang pinapress na button doon, alamin mo kung defective ba or non-defective yung item, and then you will be recording the occurrence, no? Ng particular outcome that you have. So it could be either defective and non-defective. Now, those were categorical data, or should I say the counts or measurements that we can actually get from that particular test or experiment. Now, why are we up to gathering those data? No, kasi we are getting the total, no, possible or chances of outcomes that we can have in a certain sample space. Okay, so kasi from there, no, we can do some probability checking. No, we can check the possibility, the total possibilities that ano yung pwedeng mag-occur on that certain experiment. Okay, so statisticians use word experiment to describe any process that generates a set of data. Okay, a simple example of a statistical experiment also is, for example, tossing up a coin. No, so in this example, no, this is considered already an experiment wherein what are the possible outcomes that we can have, diba? If we flip a coin, then the possible outcome could be a head or tail. Now, we have two possible outcomes wherein that consists the total sample space that we have, wherein it could be head or tails. Okay, so that's it for our sample space. Now, what are the other examples that we can relate to, no, when we are getting sample space? Suppose we have a die, no, or a dice. Are you familiar, guys, with dice or die? Are you familiar with that?
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for those who are not familiar, no, let me go here. Okay, so dice or die, no, when you say die, isa lang, no. So this is made of, this is in cubic in shape, no, so meaning 6 faces yung meron, and it so happened na binuo to na ang lumalabas are also the numbers 1 to 6. So as you can see, these are the faces here, no, itong pinapoint out ko. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so in this case, what are the total possible outcomes? No, it could be one. This is in total 6 possible outcomes. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that constitute your sample space. No, so ganun yan. No? And then that's already what we call an experiment, no? When we are dealing with sample space. Now, what else? No, an experiment can be a designed experiment. It could be an observational studies or retrospective studies. But in probability and statistics, no, in general, collecting a possible outcome for a sample space. Okay, so now let's go next to the presentation, on the next page here. No, so again, we are dealing with what? Now, when we are dealing with experiment, we are facing uncertainty. But good thing when we defined already the total possible or the possible outcomes, then we can have some statistical records, no, wherein ilan ba yung chances that we get that this result will occur out of this total sample space, no. So yun yung we are up to. Okay, now for the official definition of sample space, no, it is the set of all possible outcomes of any statistical experiment, and it is represented by the symbol S. Now, class, as you can see, no, ang ating representation here is that S represents sample space, followed by equal sign, and then an open bracket here. Okay, follow the cursor, and then in this bracket consists the possible outcome. So when we are flipping a coin, what is the possible outcome? It could be head or tail. So H represent head and T represent tail. So it is separated by a comma. Okay, so now class, we call head or tail or simply head or simply tail, no, out of the sample space an element or a member of the sample space or simply sample point. But most reference book, those were called element in a sample space. Okay, so that's an example for a flipping of a coin. So how about tingnan? No, when we are to represent the possible outcomes, no, when we are to toss a die, no. So that will be 6 cases. So what we'll be having is also what it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a dotted one. No, again, let me go back here. It could be a dotted one, 2 dots. No, it could be 3 dots, and that consists the sample space here. No, the elements of the sample space 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 separated by comma. Now, as you can see, class, no, we can create another sample space out of the possible outcomes for tossing a die. Diba? Ano yun? The sample space could be what? Could be an odd or an even. Kasi, as you can see, diba? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. No? The other possible outcome that we can group is that it could be an odd. No? That would be 1 and 3 and 5, or it could be an even 2, 4, and 6. So we can do a sample space representing even and odd as what? As a element of the sample space. But class, mind you, we always get the sample space wherein we can represent the maximum possible outcome that we have. So in this case, we will take S1 here as the sample space for the possible outcome in tossing a die. Okay, so that will be 6 possible outcomes. Now, typically class, no, in this sample kasi we can just simply count, no? We can just observe, no? Kaya siyempre 6 faces yung cube. But how about kung there's some certain condition or marami na siyang limitation and condition that we have. Now we have what we call a tree diagram. Now ano ba yung tree diagram? In this in the succeeding example class, tree diagram will help us to systematically determine the possible outcome in a sample space of an experiment. Okay, so it is better to discuss this one into an example. No? So example 2.2, an experiment. Guys, is this readable to you, or I will be zooming this one? Itong example 2.2. Can I have a confirmation? Class, is this readable to you still, no? Or maybe yung mata ko malabo.
Yes po.
Okay, I think readable naman. So now, example 2.2, an experiment consists of flipping a coin and then flipping it a second time if a head occur. So meaning there's a condition already. Ano yung condition dito, class? Right, ang unang outcome, no, ang unang experiment is that you would flip a coin. Now, based on the result of the first flipping of the coin, no, kung ang lalabas daw ay head, then ang i-flip mo daw ulit is a coin. No? Now, if it so happens that on the first flip of the coin, the tail occurs, then take note class, no? Ang condition dito is a die will be tossed once. No? So, how do we represent this type of experiment? No? So, this is easily represented by a tree diagram. Okay, so let me go advance here, no, sa next page before we go here. No, kasi ito na yung total possible outcomes, no, or the element, no, each element of the possible outcomes in total for the sample space on this experiment. So for the tree diagram, ganito yan class, no. Okay, this is what we call the tree diagram. No? These are the branches of the tree diagram. So, ang start natin dito class, guys, are you with me already with tree diagram here for the example?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ang start natin here is from the leftmost part going to the right. Okay, so start of the experiment. On the experiment, we will be flipping flipping. No? We will be flipping a coin. No? So ang first outcome, anong possible outcome, class? Diba? That it could be a head or tail on the first outcome. Now, there's a certain condition, no, on wherein it depends on the result of the first flipping of the coin, what procedures will follow, no? So nakalagay doon is that kapag head yung lumabas, no, on the first flipping of the coin, then you will again flip a coin. So meaning this branch outs once again, no? So kaya siya 3 diagram kasi nga nagpa-branch yan, no? So again, the continuation of the experiment, no? Let's say lumabas is a head on the first flip of the coin, then a coin is being flipped once again, no? So again, the possible outcome, it could be a head or a tail, a head or a tail, tama, no? A head or a tail for the second outcome. Now, class, there's a certain condition, no, wherein naman kapag yung first flipping of the coin resulted to tail, then ano yung condition doon? A die will be tossed, no? So in this case, no, this branch out here, no, since this is the second possible outcome, no, based on the first flipping of the coin, so it will branch out once again to 6, no, kasi you will be tossing a die here, no, since ang lumabas ay tail. So meaning, what do we have? Diba? We have 6 possible outcomes constituting one number of dots of 1 to 6. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, class, when we have to represent this possible outcome into sample point or element, we will be just reading this one horizontally. So meaning, ang first possible outcome is that on the first flipping of the coin, ang lumabas ay head, and then on the second flip of the coin, that will be head also. So that is a sample point number 1, which is head and head. And consequently, possibilities that the possible outcome is that on the first toss is head, and then on the second toss naman ay tail. So that represent HT here. And now, in the second possibility, based on the first toss, is that if tail yan, then we will toss a die, and that will be T1, T2, T3, T4, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, if we will be counting, if you are asked, you will be asked how many possible outcomes, no, that will result on the experiment. That will be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 possible outcomes, and that constitutes the element of this particular sample space. As you can see, diba, ang representation natin, open bracket, then the outcomes H8, HT, T1, T2, until T6. So count this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's total possible outcomes. So ito yung class, ito yung advantage ng tree diagram. No? Case-to-case basis, but typically useful tong tree diagram. Okay, when we are to predict, or we are to illustrate the possible or the sets of possible outcomes in an experiment. Okay, so class, is this clear to you? In this example, do you have a question about this one? Class, anyone? Do you have any question about this example? Anyone? If you have questions, or I will take that as a no question case. So I think you have understood the example. Tama ba? Can I have a confirmation, class?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay, so let's continue more, no, of the example. Now, example 2.3, okay, suppose that 3 items are selected at random from a manufacturing process. Then each item is inspected and classified defective for D and non-defective as N. Okay, so ano yung experiment here? 3 items will be selected at random from a manufacturing. Now, to list the elements of the sample space providing the most information, again, we have to construct a tree diagram. Kasi kung we will go directly here, no, parang napunta yun dyan. No? Maybe if you are just advanced, no? Kasi, diba, siyempre 3 3 something yan, no? So meaning um, on the first selection, it could be a defective, second, puro defective, and on the second, defective, defective, and non-defective. It could be defective, then non-defective, defective. Kaso, you will be medyo maliligaw ka kasi alin ba yung combination dyan na or the possible outcome na hindi pa nakasulat. Diba? So, again, now in this example, ito naman ay finite or meaning we can define this one kasi nga hindi naman dun ganun kadami yung possible or the number of possible outcome. But again, this is well represented by a tree diagram. So let's go straight here for a tree diagram representation. Now again, these row are the first item, second item, and third item of inspection. Now again, this is the start of the experiment from left. Now, so on the first item, that can be picked. No, it could be a defective and a non-defective. Now for the second item, again, you just simply what connect the branches here. Now for the second item, it could be defective or non-defective. Then this will branch out to be defective or non-defective, and so on and so forth. Now, as you can see, follow the procedure within what we're just doing what horizontal listing here to create the possible outcomes. Now, as you can see, ito yung kaninang sagot doon sa sample space, diba? It could happen na on the first and second and the third item, we yung nag-inspect could check that the items are all defective, or pwede yan na on the third item, dun kakaroon ng non-defective, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is how the tree diagram helps here when we are to represent the possible, the element of possible outcomes. Okay, so let me go back here no, on the example. Now class, ito kasi ay when we say finite, no, meaning it could be expressed, no, it could be counted sa kamay lang or kaya siyang mabilang ng mabilisan. Paano kung we are representing an infinite number of sample points or an element? Meaning madami siya na hindi natin kaya siyang isulat here on a single sheet of paper kasi nga infinite. So anong ginagawa? Meron lang namang expression that we use, but this is very rare to use kasi most in probability and statistics problem, typically ay nadidefine naman natin yung mga number of possible outcomes. Okay, so ito lang na para for the general rule, how do we represent that into an expression? So, for example, if the possible outcomes, by the way, that is a statement or rule method pala no, for infinite number of sample points. Take note, statement or rule method. Okay, for example, if the possible outcomes of an experiment are the set of cities in the world with a population over 1 million. Our sample space is written as what? Ito na siya, no? S is equal to, still open and close parentheses, no? So meaning yun yung mag-enclose ng sample space, but we have here X and a vertical bar rather, meaning binabasa natin na such that, no? So we call this, how do we read this one? S is the set of all X such that, no? Itong vertical bar. X is a city with a population over 1 million. So guys, if you will be checking, syempre dadaan kayo ng mga statistics data, no, coming from different city, but you will come up na those were infinite numbers, no, meaning matagal siya i-collect and madami, no, so you can represent that sample space into this manner, no. You just use vertical bar here representing the condition, no, such that X is a city with population over 1 million, and that's it. Now another example here, similarly, if S or the sample space is the set of all points, ito naman class ay deals more on analytic geometry, no? So S here is the set of all points, of course X and Y yung representation ng coordinates on the boundary or the interior of a circle of radius 2 with center at the origin, no? Now class, I know for sure medyo hindi nyo na-recall itong formula, but itong equation na to represent an equation of a circle in terms of analytic geometry. This is x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. So r squared here, so 2 squared is 4. No? This constitute this condition here to less than or equal to 4 to have a minimum a limiting condition wherein we are at maximum to radius of number 2. Now, so how do we read this one? S is a sample space or set of all points wherein x and y are the coordinates such that it it coincides on the boundary of the interior of the circle with radius less than or equal to 4. Okay, so ito yon how we represent um, a sample space, no, wherein there's an infinite number of sample points or elements. Okay, so by the way, this is not typical, no, on most probability and statistics problems, but just take note on how you can put this one into an expression. Okay, so now let's move forward here. Okay, so whether we describe the sample space by the rule method or by listing the elements will depend on the specific problem at hand. So really, meaning no, when we say problem at hand, what type of experiments that we are handling, no? Kaya ba siyang i-represent by just simply tree diagram, no? By just simply predicting or listing the possible outcomes, diba? So, pwede naman yon manually or using the tree diagram. Okay, so now consider an example again in which items from a manufacturing process are either defective or non-defective. Now, ito kasi parang on this example class, no? If you are checking on this sample space here, ano nakikita nyo here, class? Or should I say, ito yung observation here na on this particular sample space, no? Let's do an observation. Anong nangyayari dito is that hindi tumitigil yung sampler not until hindi siya nakakahanap ng defective items. So meaning there's an infinite sampling here na wherein as long as defective items are not found, then tuloy-tuloy yung pag-sample. So meaning in this case, D, no, ND, NND, NND, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it constitutes what? It represents also a here, no, a statement or a rule method here, no, in representing infinite sample points, okay, or sample or elements. Now, okay, we have here aside from tree diagram, no, we have here a fundamental principle of counting, wherein we can minimize, no, we can somehow compute already to the total number possible outcomes available in an experiment. Meaning class, hindi na natin siya, there are certain times depending on the problem at hand, hindi na natin kailangan dumaan sa tree diagram just to simply what? Count how many possible outcomes do we have. So for example, on this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No? So we do it manually. Now, in the principle of counting here, we call it actually multiplication rule. Is that so? You will see later, no, on our succeeding example. Now, the counting sample points as per fundamental principle of counting, okay, it is one of the problem actually that the statistician must know, no, kung ilan ba yung possible outcomes in a certain experiment. Okay, so with the help of this multiplication rule or principle of counting, then mapapadali na yung buhay ng statistician. Okay, so these typical problems belongs in the field of probability kasi nga, di ba, when we are to know the number of probable or outcomes, then we are doing what? Now, let's say we take a number of elements, then divide that in the total number of outcomes, then we are taking the probability wherein that particular element or group of elements will occur. Okay? So, paano ba gumagana tong fundamental principle of counting? Okay? So, yun nga. Let's go straight to an example later. But by the way, we have here the rule, no? For the fundamental rules of counting, no? So, for the counting principle. Now, if an operation or an experiment, guys, are you with me with rule 2.1 here? Ito yung pinaka-importante here that I will be reading regarding the counting principle. Are you with me with this one? Rule 2.1?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If an operation can be performed in n1 ways, and if for each of these ways a second operation or experiment can be performed in n2 ways, no, itong 2 plus n1 represent one experiment or operation, and 2 is the second experiment or operation, and then no, the two operations can be performed together in n1 and 2 ways. So meaning, let's say the first experiment will produce 6 possible outcomes, and then the second experiment will again produce 6 possible outcomes. So meaning the total outcome will constitute what? N1, N2, this means multiplication. No? So 6 times 6 equals 36. Now, a good example of this one is when we toss a pair of dice. No? So, paano ba, paano ba yun? No? So, without listing the possible ways, no, using a tree diagram, you can just simply what, no, with this rule 2.1, no, yung n1 here, no, n1, n2, ano yun? No, yung n1 is what? The number of ways, okay, wherein the first die is being thrown, no, ano yung possible outcome, di ba, 6, right? And then for the second die, still, 6 pa rin naman yung ways, wherein the outcome of the toss will have no, still 1 to 6 pa rin. So meaning 6 times 6 in total, that will be 36 possible ways. Now, to further understand this more, no, let's verify the result. No, if we are applying this fundamental counting principle or the multiplication rule. No, so let's have an example here. No, so we verify this one through a tree diagram and also using this fundamental counting principle or the multiplication rule. Okay, so example 2.14, a developer of a new subdivision offers prospective home buyers of a choice of Tudor, rustic, colonial, and traditional exterior styling. Now, ito clash yung mga options, no? Or meaning these are the possible outcomes wherein yung owner can choose, no, what type of design he or she can have on his home. Now, other than that, no, the other set of design or set of criteria, no, or we call it an experiment or an operation, is that he can choose also that it could be what, in a ranch type, in a two-story type, or in a split level floor plan. So meaning typically class, when we say ranch type, this is more of a bungalow type, a two-story type, of course, two-story, and then split level, meaning it could constitute a certain mezzanine prior to the next level of floor. So meaning what the owner has from the developer has four options for the style and 3 options for the floor plan. Now, if we represent this one into a tree diagram, no? Again, this is the start here, no? Of this particular. Again, this should be termed as experiment pa rin naman, no? Under statistics. So this is the start here. Then, of course, the owner can choose four choices of style: Tudor, rustic, colonial, and traditional. And again, this will, no, from these outcomes, no, he or she can still what, choose, no, on what possible outcomes for the floor plan. It could be ranch, 2-story, split level. Okay, and similarly, kung halimbawa rustic naman yung napili ng client, could still what, choose or he can opt, it could be ranch, two-story, split level, and so on and so forth. Now, class, if we will be counting this one, no, if we will be writing this one, or counting this one, the first possible outcome would be two-door or two-door, exterior style, and ranch floor plan type. So this is the first possible outcome. That will be one. Then the second possible outcome, it could be a two-story two-door, or the third outcome, it could be a split level two-door, and then the fourth outcome, it could be a ranch type of floor plan with rustic design, and so on and so forth. So if you will be counting these branches of tree diagram, mabibilang natin yung total possible outcome. So that will be what? 1, 2, 3. So ito ay 3, and then another 3, another 3, and another 3. No? So 1, 2, 3. That will be 12 possible outcome, no, for the design and floor plan of a home. Now, ito class, no, ito na yung verification, no, wherein we can apply the multiplication rule, no, or simply the fundamental counting principle, no. So we can design in n1 ways, no, in 4 ways here, no, for the exterior style, and we can design here in 3 ways the floor plan. So meaning n1, n2 is equal to 4 times 3, which constitute total of 12 possible home design or possible outcome. Okay, so as you can see here, class, now with the rule 2.1 applies, no? It is really verified, no? This particular counting principle or simply multiplication rule, no? When we are dealing to determine the total possible outcome of an experiment, no? So yan. Class, is this clear to you? Itong verification natin to this example already? Class? Can I have
Yes,
confirmation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ayan yun, no? Meaning, tandaan nyo lang, no, when we are dealing with, again, counting principle or the fundamental principle of counting, no? It's just a multiplication rule, no? Just know what are the number of ways of the first experiment and the succeeding experiment, ilan ulit the number of ways wherein or outcome is possible, and then just multiply those two, no? And then those are the total possible outcomes. So true to it, no? Both for tree diagram and multiplication rule for the fundamental counting principle. Okay, so moving forward, we have an example ulit, no? So okay, by the way, class, no? Ito pala, na pwede rin niya magbaligtad, no? Kung mauna man na mamimili yung client, no? Halimbawa, floor plan siya mamimili bago pa yung exterior style, still this will constitute same result, no? Okay, so what else? Let's continue for another example. So example 2.15. Okay, so again, it differs depending on the experiment or the problem at hand that we are facing. So in this example, if a 22-member club, no, so ito ay an organization, no, for example, sa ESS, no, or any other type of organization, okay, a school club or maybe other professional club, no? So if a 22 club needs to select or elect a chair and a treasurer, how many different ways can these two be elected, no? So eto class, no, we have a limited total number of element for the sample space. So alam ba yung total number we have on sample space? 22 member kasi fixed naman yung member, right? Now, for each of those 22 possibilities, no, there are 21 possibilities to elect for the treasurer. So why is that so? So meaning kasi kung di ba i-elect natin, no, for example, on the election of the chair, no, or it could be a president, no? Chair na lang. No? So, ilan pa yung possibilities that we have out of 22? Diba, still we have 22 ways, no, to select kung sino yung pwedeng maging chair. Now, on the second, on the continuation, no, when we have to elect the treasurer, ano nangyari? Siyempre, nabuwasan na yung ating total possibilities. Ano? Out of 22, siyempre nakapag-select na tayo ng president, then the total possibilities or outcome wherein we can choose is that 21 na lang out of 22 kasi nga this already occupied, this number was occupied by the chair. So meaning 22 times 21 equates to 462 different ways. Now class, if you will be doing a tree diagram here, you can still compute this one. No? Yun lang, isa-isahin nyo yan. No? But, okay, we have the multiplication rule or the fundamental principle of counting, wherein we can just multiply succeeding outcomes, no? number of outcomes with succeeding experiment. Okay, so just take note that minsan we have limited a sample space or number of possibilities, no, in a certain experiment. As for this example, no, wherein this is an organization or a club. Okay, so another example, suppose for instance that a customer wishes to buy a new cell phone and can choose from N1, 5 brands, then N2 is equal to 5 sets of capability. So meaning meron yung kanya-kanya specs, no? So it constitutes capability or the number of possibilities to choose. And then for N3, in terms of color naman, that's 4 colors to choose. Now, these 3 classification result to what? How many different ways in total? Now, wherein the customer can choose, given these different sets of possibilities. So that will be 5 times 5 times 4. So in total, 100 different ways. And again, yung multiplication rule applies. So kaya sometimes it is called generalized multiplication rule, no? When we are dealing with those type of experiments or operations. Okay, so okay class, meaning hindi lang siya applicable only to two successive operation or experiment. It applies even until infinity, as long as we can define the number of possible outcome or ways wherein each and every experiments or operations will result. No? So yun lang naman yung importante doon. Now, another example here, for example 2.16, Sam is going to assemble, by the way class, no? Ito pala yung plan ko. Guys, can you hear me right now? Still clearly?
Yes po, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ganito yung schedule natin para at least you have some practice every after ng meron tayong discussion. No? So every online yung class natin, you will just be having an assignment. Okay, and it equates to our performance activity. Okay, so kung meron pa ring oras tayo, magkakaroon tayo ng long quiz, but typically assignment lang and SeatWorks, no, every face-to-face. Okay, the good thing here is that make sure to create a notebook, no, on your notes kasi on this prelim period, I would still be allowing an open notes for SeatWork. No, for now, since we are transitioning to classes with face-to-face, no? So, yun muna yung liwi ko sa inyo for the prelim. I will be doing an open note SeatWorks every face-to-face. No? So, make sure to check or to do outline and doing notes every time na face-to-face yung ating klase. Okay, so that when we have some SeatWork, it will be easy for you to solve problems. So, you have your practice. Okay, so klaro ba tayo doon, class? Clear ba yun sa lahat? Class, can I have
Yes, sir.
confirmation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's better na mas at least na practice nyo yung mga ating mga examples already or ating mga discussion. Okay? Okay, so let's see kung merong pang long quiz kasi ang long quiz is just an example na rin, preparation for for your examinations, no? Kasi parang ang examination can be considered already a long quiz or a long exam, no? On all the topics. Pero let's see kung pagbibigyan tayo ng oras pa to do that. Okay, in case. So, another example here in application of multiplication rule or fundamental principle of counting. So, Sam is going to assemble a computer by himself. He has the choice of chips from two brands. So, meaning two chips, ito yung kinakain. It could be the motherboard that they are referring to, the brand, no? Or it could be the memory, no? The hard drive memory, chip brand, no? Meron pala dito na nakalagay na pala, no? So, a chip from two brands, hard drive from four, then a memory from three brands. So, and an accessory bundle, ito, nakaiba yung accessory na from 5 local store. As you can see, class, ang important lang dito is that we know the total possible ways. Take note, guys, no? It could be a possible ways, possible outcome, total number of elements from choices. No? In this case, ito ay brand. And then, if you know that, represent that as N1, N2, N3, and N4, so on and so forth, kung ilan man yan. And then, write all the total number of ways wherein that can be done, in choices can be done. And then, just multiply that, applying the fundamental counting principle or multiplication rule. So, it will lead to what? N1 is equal to 2, N2 is equal to 4 for 4 memory choices, from different brands. Then 3 that's actually memory from 3, no? Ito ay hard drive pala yung 4. Then accessory for 5 local brands. So 2 times 4 times 3 times 5, that's total of 120 different ways to order the parts. Okay, so yun lang yun, no? Yun yung fundamental principle of counting. Okay, so magbabase lang tayo sa mga datas na meron. Ang mahirap lang class dito actually, yung kung hindi ka familiar with yung mga gambling games like poker, hindi pa tayo mag-deal doon kasi on the next meeting pa yun, no? Kasi meron tayong mga arrangement or it's all about permutation and combination, by the way. So, but by the way, I'll be showing you, no, as much as possible, no? Ano ba yung, lahat ba kayo marunong magbaraha? May ask nga, marunong ka magbaraha? Familiar kayo sa playing cards?
Yes
Class?
po.
Yes,
Hindi,
sir.
sir.
Yun yung problem ninyo, no, with some statistical probability and statistics. Let me see nga, can you say yes? Can I have a number here? Some statistic kung ilan yung marunong. Can you type yes here kung marunong kayo sa playing cards? Alam niyo yung mga character? And type no kung hindi. So maybe let's have some reference if I'll be discussing in detail. Okay, yes. Anyone? Yes. No. Okay, may isang no. Dalawa. Okay, I'm not encouraging you to do some gambling. Pero kasi, I mean, I'm just referring to the possible outcomes on cards, no? On playing cards. Okay, so I think okay, nakalanin lima, anim, uno cards, no? Okay, so parang very rare itong uno, no, na lumalabas sa probability and statistics. More on card, dices, coins, no? Minsan binibigay naman kung ano yung mga possible outcomes on type of experiment available. Okay, so but don't worry, let's go ahead, Asi.
Sir, di ba may formula po para mas mabilis makuha yung mga probable yung probability po?
Yes, may formula for probability, but we are not yet into actual solving a probability. No, meron yung formula. For now, we are just more on to define, no, to compute for the total number of elements in a given space. Kasi yun yung importante in order to compute for a probability. Let's say na-compute mo na yung total sample space. No? For example, in tossing a die, di ba? Ang total number of space that you have, or sample space that you have, is 6 possible ways, right? So meaning, what is the probability that nalalabas yung 2? No, that will be what? 1 out of 6. So yun yung probability. Okay, so marami yan. There's some conditional probability that you will be encountering, but for now, hindi pa natin siya itatakal. Okay? What else? Okay, so sige, don't worry. Let's tackle those regarding sa cards, no? Kasi I think baka lumabas yun. Okay, so more likely lalabas na. So let's continue. Another example here. Is this the last example, I guess? Can I have a check here? Okay, I think this is the last example, but let me isolate this example kasi I'm finding the solution here na rigorous or hindi siya ganun kadaling sundan. No? So ibuod natin itong example na to. Okay, so here. Okay. Last example, in getting the total number of sample space, no? The total number of elementary sample space, no? Could be defined as space or possible outcome, and so on and so forth. Guys, are you with me with example 2.17 right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for example 2.17, wait, naglolo ko tong aking wait guys, let me reconnect this device. My drawing tablet here. Okay, I hope it works. Oops, ayaw. Okay, wait guys, let me fix this one. Okay. I hope it works already. Wait. For a while, guys. Wait, let me fix this one. Okay, but actually, this is our last example. No? Hold on for a moment. Okay. Okay, kung kailan huling sample saka pa ito nagloko. Okay. Yan, okay. Yan, finally. Okay, so let's continue class. No? Okay, naka-off ata yung camera ko. Okay, that's again, can may I check? Can you hear me clearly for the last
Yes,
example?
sir.
Okay, so example 2.7, how many even 4-digit numbers can be formed through the digits 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9 if each digit can be used only once. Okay, so for a 4-digit, di ba? Ano ba mga example na pwede nating example, no? Ano ba example ng 4-digit? Di ba? It could be, let's say, out of this number, no? It could be 9 without repetition, no? It could be 9, 2, 5, and syempre, ang kailangan daw ay even number, no? So, it will become, for this to become even, it should end what? It would be 0, 2, and 6, no? Meaning divisible yan into 2. No? Ito yung isa example. What else? Can you give me nga muna? So, at least I know, you know the condition here for the experiment. What else? Can you give me an example? Class? A 4-digit number that is an even number. No? So, hindi na ulit yung digit selection out of 0, 1, 2, 5, and 6 here, and 9. Anyone, can you give me an example? Will do. Okay. Can I ba yun or nag-raise ng hand? Go ahead.
1260.
Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, so 0. Yes, tama na. This is divisible by 2, this is an even number, and walang naulit. So yun yung mga example. Okay, so at least we know what type of experiment are we dealing with this one. Now, how we have a limited number uh, of sample space. We have here what? N is equal to ilang digits do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have N here. We have a limited number of digits of 6, right? So we can still apply the multiplication rule or the fundamental counting principle here, given that we are to limit ourselves, or we have to restrict on this condition, or we have to follow on this condition. Okay, so in this example, we can classify two cases. No? Plus, ano pala yung ibang condition here na, kasi syempre, ano ba yung ating arrangement pala, by the way, for a 4-digit? Diba? That will be thousands. No? Ito yung arrangement or positioning. No? It will be thousands. Diba? Itong 9 yung thousands digit. And hundreds. And then tens. And then, ito ay units or ones na, but typically, ito yung mga ones na. Pwede rin siyang unit or ones. So, ones na lang. Na. Now, class, ang hindi natin pwedeng malagay dito sa thousands, anong digit out of here? No? Ang hindi natin pwedeng ilagay sa thousands, for this example, na hindi siya magbubuo ng 4-digit. Out of this digit, can anyone say, give the digit here? Out of 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9, alin dyan yung hindi natin pwedeng ilagay sa arrangement na here, na, sa placing here ng thousands?
0 po, sir.
0. Tama. Diba? Kasi pag nilagay natin 0, for example, no? Say 0, 1, 3, 5. Of course, divisible by 2, 3, 6, no? Are we getting a 4-digit number? Starting with 0, di ba? Hindi. So, mangyayari 3-digit na lang yan. So, meaning, we cannot put 0 here. So, out of 6, mababawasan na rin yung ating number of ways to do this particular order. Okay? A 4-digit na even yung number. Okay? So, let me erase this one. Or maybe, we can write this one. Cross na natin. No? Now, okay, we have two cases here. No? We have case 1 here, wherein, okay, the 4-digit number, no? The 4-digit number ends with 0. And the second case is that the 4-digit number does not end with 0. So meaning it could be 6 or what else? 2. No? So yun yung dalawang case that we can do mutually exclusive or magkaiba. No? Pero on the end, we will be adding those two cases kasi nga it will constitute naman in the total number of ways wherein we can get a 4-digit number, or the total number of outcomes, no? Or 4-digit number ending, or rather, that are even. Okay, so let's continue. No? So with this arrangement, tens, 100,000, no? We can just simply what? Do some parentheses. Okay, we can represent that already as what? Okay, as a series of experiment or testing or something out of this particular total number of sample space of 6. Now, class, okay, ano yung limitation that we have here? No? So, this should end in 1. No? So, or rather in 0. So, meaning isa lang yung pwede nating gamitan here. No? So, meaning, still, though we have a 6 total number of digits here, but on this case 1, this should end to 0. So, other than that, it should end with 5, or rather 2 or 6. So, meaning, This is only 1, no? For the ones here, on this arrangement. And kung 0 na yan, so meaning, nilagay natin na 0 to, how many possible outcome can we have here? Now, can we still write 6 here, even though we get 1 already here? Ilan na lang matitira dito? How many total sample space remaining for the thousands here on this arrangement? Class, anyone? Is this 6 or 5 or 4? Anyone? We are still doing multiplication rule here or counting principle no? In this arrangement. Hundreds, no, this is for hundreds. This is for, or rather, this is for thousands. This is hundreds. This is tens. No? These are the arrangement of the 4-digit. Okay. Class, anyone? Meron ba? Gusto mag-participate here? Okay, class, since you have already, one way here, no? Na nakuha out of 6, no? Digit. Then, ang matitira na lang dito would be 5 na lang. Right? Since nakuha natin yung 0 dito, nilagay natin na 0 yan, so isa lang. And ang matitira na lang out of 6, 5 ways na lang. Right? Okay? And then, of course, kung 5 to, ilan na lang yung total number of ways remaining, no? Or the total number, sample space, no? Out of 6. So, kung 5 na lang yan, di ba? Ito ay 4 na lang. Okay? And then, how about itong tens? Tatlo na lang. Right? Are you getting this one, class? Can I have a check? Are you getting this one? Class? Anyone? Do you have a question about this one? Class? Okay, go ahead, Matthew.
Sir, pwede pong medyo pa-verify po bakit po naging yung sa 1,000, 5 na lang po yung ano. Medyo nandito po.
Okay, so I think ito nga yung confusing sa inyo, no? So again, class, no? So ang ating case here is that ito muna, case 1, is that the 4-digit number ends with 0. So meaning for the ones here, no? Itong sa arrangement na to, for the location of ones, no? Isa lang yung pwede natin ilagay, no? Kasi isa lang naman yung 0 out of the 6 digits, 0, 1, 2, 5, and 6, and 9. So 1 lang yan. Now, again, no, kung nagkaroon tayo ng selection already na ito ay 0, so ilan na lang matitira out of 6? Kung nakuha natin si 0 for ones, ilan na lang matitira out of 6? Siyempre, nakuha na isa. So ilan na lang matitira? The condition is that the digits can only be used once. So meaning once, walang ulit. Diba? So kung hindi ulit yan, nakuha na yung 0, ilan na yung matitira here. No? So nakuha yung 0, can you count this one? 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9. Ilang digit yan? Anyone?
5.
Okay, that's good. No? So meaning 5 na lang. Now, ngayon, we still have 5 digits right here. Now, bawal na maulit-ulit kung ano man yung lalabas dito. Diba? So, meaning, kung bawal na maulit yan, kung 5 na lang kanina, prior ng selection ng 1,000, so meaning, prior tayo mag-select ng hundreds, ilan na lang yung possible digit that can be used. No? Ilan na lang. So, wala ng 0, kukuha ulit tayo ng isa out of 5, so ilan na lang? Dito. 4 na lang, right? Diba kasi may isa na dyan, may isa na. No? A digit out of the 6-digit choices. Okay, so kuha na ba to? Okay, we have 4 to. Plus, there's no repetition. No? Or meaning, isang beses na may use yung number. Kuha na to, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now for the tens, yun nga. So, syempre, mababawasan ulit yan. That's why 3 na lang to. Okay, and then, the multiplication rule applies since we are just taking continuous sampling out of what? Or continuous selection out of a total 6 digits, no? Or sample space that we have here. Now, so can you multiply this one, class? This is 5 times 4. This is what? 20 times 3. This is 60.
60.
Okay, so that's good. Now for case number 2, no? For case number 2, still a 4-digit number, no? Yan, ilalagyan ko na lang dito ng parentheses, no? Still even yung ating requirements. 4-digit number. Ends with, ano na lang, ano ba natitira na lang sa atin, class? Para magiging even yan, di ba? Kung kanina 0 na yan, ano na lang, ends with 2 or 6, no? Ends with 2 or 6, right? So, now, ending in 2 or 6, ang placement ton ay sa ones, di ba? So, again, let me write the parentheses for the multiplication rule. Okay, now class, how many number of digits can we put here out of 6? So, ano yung pwede natin ilagay?
1.
Okay, this is 2 and 6. So, ilan yan? Class? 2 and 6. Okay, 2, di ba? Very good. Now, class, on the, considering na hindi 0 yung ending nito, meaning possible possible na makuha yung 0 here, pero hindi natin siya allow. So, meaning, nakakuha tayo ng isa dito, hindi rin pwede yung 0. So, ilan na lang yung matitira on our choices out of 6? Is it 4 or 5?
4.
4, tama, no? Why is that 4? Diba kasi hindi pwede yung 0. So, mababawasan na isa out of 6. And makakakuha na tayo ng isa dito, either 2 or 6. So, meaning isa dito, bawal yung 0, and then 4 na lang. Okay? Tama. No? So, now, how about sa hundreds, no? Sa placement ng hundreds. Ano na lang yan, magbibilang na lang tayo kasi nga, di ba? Isa na yung nakuha dito, then isa na rin nakuha dito. So, ilan yung ating total number digits that are available already, still available on the sample space. So, isa dito, ilan to? Ilan pa rin yung total number of sample space you can choose, no? Out of 6. Diba? Isa dito, then isa dito. So, ilan na lang to? Out of 6. Class?
4.
Yes. 4, right? So, ngayon, class, bibilang nyo na lang yan, yung itong sa tens, kasi wala namang limitation na di ba? Ang may limitation lang naman itong end, kasi nga, end or simply yung ones digit here. No? Kasi nga, yan mag-dictate either even yan or odd, di ba? It should be divisible by 2. No? And then, itong thousands digit here, itong simula, hindi naman siya pwedeng maging 0 yung simula kasi nga, hindi siya magiging 4-digit number. So, in this case, nalampas na natin yung pag-select ng digit rin merong restriction. And what we will just be needing is that bibilangan na lang natin kung ilan lang yung natitirang number of digits that is applicable on our last experiment or procedure here. No? So meaning may isa na dyan, may isa na dito, may isa na rin dito. So tatlo na yung nagamit. So ang natitira na lang would be 3. Okay, so kuha ba ito? Bakit 3? Class? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so compute the result here. That will be 4 times 4, 16 times 3. Alam yan? 48, tama ba? Times 2, that will be 96. Okay, so okay, this is possible outcome, no?
Sir,
Or
bakit
ways.
po 49?
Ay, 96 pala. Sorry, no? 48 times 2, 96. Okay, so this is ways. 92 ways or outcomes. No? It's all up to you. Now, okay, tama na. 46, 96, and then this is case 1 and 2, so we just simply add that. No? So, total for case 1 and case 2. That will be 96 plus 60. Kailan yan, class? That is
156.
156.
Okay. There are 156 ways. Ano ibig sabihin ng task? There are 156 ways we can do a combination ng arrangement ng digits containing 0, 1, 2, 5, 6, and 9 wherein even siya and also 4-digit, no? Meaning hindi yan simula sa 0. Okay? And also, hindi umuulit or ginagamit lang natin yung digit once. So, walang umuulit na ganyan. If you want to check this result, no? If you want to count this in total, no? You can just manually bilangin mo yan, di ba? Isa-isa yun, no? Pero with the counting principle, we can do this multiplication rule. Okay, so now summary of our discussion. If we already know the total number of ways or possible outcome, then we can proceed already with computation of probability, permutation, and combination. No? But actually, we will be dealing with permutation and combination muna before properly introducing probability. Na kasi yun lang naman yun eh. No? So, do you have a question, class, regarding this problem? Anyone? Is this clear already? Do you have still question here for this example, for the last example? Class?
Wala po.
Okay. Last, check your assignment tab, no, for your assignment, no, for your practice on our topic for today, and then we will be solving the examples on our F2F classes, no, para practice na lang natin and to check your assignment. Okay, so to those who has no question, you can leave the meeting, or to those who want to address attendance yan. Tama, ito yung babanggitin ko pa lang. Okay, sige, let's check your attendance. Nasaan na yung ating attendance? Checking here. Okay, say present when you hear your surname. Calzado, Dolfo.
Present po.
Okay,
Present, sir. Tugsado.
okay. Escanio.
Present po, sir.
Malasugi. Yes, Malasugi. Are you here? Nalangay. Okay, so dalawa lang yung wala ngayon. No? The last ko ng attendance, Malasugi and Nalangay.
Hindi po ako natawag, sir.
Allison, Cambridge, Kuyugan. Tama ba?
Opo. Kaka-enroll ko lang po kahapon.
I see. Hindi ka pa nakatag na. Pero don't worry. Kung sakaling mag-appear man na absent ka with the tagging of sa Canvas, remind me, I'll check your attendance. Okay?
Opo, tsaka po, sir, sa Canvas po, wala pa po yung dynamics ko.
Okay, I see. Sige. Go to, I think, Concierge naman talaga yung the best way to address, no? Yung pagtatag ng courses sa Canvas. Okay?
Okay po, thank you po, sir.
Sure. Sige. Okay, class, we are done here. Okay, so check your assignment out for some exercises. Okay? Go ahead, Matthew, Ethan.
Sir, saan po ba makikita yung pinakita niya, sir, kanina? Na ano? Tsaka yung sketch niya po, sir, na example. Nasa Canvas po. Yan po, sir.
Nasa Canvas to. Actually, dito ay discuss in details, no? So, what else? Wala naman, just check your assignment tab, no? For some practice and exercises. Okay? Okay, class. I'll be leaving the